I liked my childhood sweetheart for 5 years. After finding out that he liked the school beauty, I decided to give up. I applied to change my seat. I stopped having meals with them, studying with them, and going home with them. Before moving to another place with my mother, I stuffed the scarf that I had knitted by myself but had been too afraid to give him into the desk of the person sitting in front of him. I think you're a nice person. I'm giving this to you. I never thought I would meet Oliver again. However, when we met again, the scarf that was supposed to be given to the person sitting in front of him was around his neck. And when he saw the man standing beside me, his eyes turned red. Don't you want me anymore? Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Subscribe us to read wonderful novels every day. Now the story begins. On the day the sports meeting ended, a sensational piece of gossip spread throughout the school. Oliver, the cold and aloof top student in the grade, was dating Irene, the school beauty. As a mutual friend of these two popular figures on campus, as soon as I got back to school, I was surrounded by gossipy classmates. You three used to walk together every day. You should know the inside story, right? I looked at the curious eyes of the gossiping crowd, remembering the video I saw not long ago. My heart felt bitter. If it weren't for the fact that Irene ran the 800-meter race and was exhausted, falling on the plastic track, Oliver rushed up to carry her to the infirmary the first moment. The worried look on his face at that time was captured by everyone. I still don't understand. It turned out that Oliver liked Irene. Actually, I should have known earlier. Several times when Irene came to us, through the window next to the classroom, I clearly saw the joy in Oliver's eyes when he looked at Irene. Why was I so slow to react? Oliver and Irene, in terms of family background and appearance, were a perfect match. One was the school hunk, and the other was the school beauty. Even if Oliver had someone he liked, it should be Irene. Perhaps after walking with them for all these years, I gradually forgot that I was from a different social class than them. Just because my mother worked for Oliver's family, I had an intersection with them temporarily. But in fact, I had never truly integrated into their circle. A dress that Irene casually bought was worth my mother's 1-month salary. The shoes that Oliver wore were never less than 4 digits in price. Thinking of this, I stuffed the birthday gift for Oliver that I had prepared long ago deeper into the desk. My mood turned sour. I don't know about their business. How could you not know? Someone said in a slightly aggressive tone. Others echoed. You're not trying to cover for them, are you? Don't lie to us. We won't tell the teacher. That's right. When he saw Irene fall, that nervous expression on his face, we won't believe that he doesn't like her. The classmates questioned me one after another, surrounding my desk so tightly that there was no room to move. This was the first time in the 2 years at this school that I had such a strong sense of presence. But at this moment, I was really annoyed by this sense of presence. I couldn't hold back my emotions. I already said I don't know. Can't you understand? This was the first time I lost my temper, and everyone was stunned. Someone took half a step to the side, revealing a gap. So I saw Oliver and Irene standing outside the crowd. I didn't know when they came back from the infirmary. At this moment, the handsome man and the beautiful woman stood side by side, looking very appealing. It attracted the attention of the classmates in the classroom and the corridor. And Oliver looked at me with indifferent eyes. Come with me. Under the curious and gossipy gazes of everyone, he called me out. He didn't care at all about what others might misunderstand. In fact, there was really no need to worry about that. After all, no one would think that there was anything between him and me. Why did you let Irene run the 800-meter race for you today? Oliver asked in a blaming tone, and my heart instantly felt like it had fallen into an ice cave. I told you before that if you didn't want to run, you shouldn't participate. You escaped at the last minute and made Irene clean up your mess. And you almost caused her to have an accident. He convicted me right away. I wanted to tell him that I didn't want to sign up for the 800-meter race. Someone played a prank and wrote my name on the list. I wanted to tell him that it wasn't that I didn't want to run the 800-meter race. My mother fainted today, and I spent the whole day taking care of her in the hospital. I wanted to tell him that I didn't ask Irene to run for me. I just told the PE monitor to find someone else. But I don't know why it ended up being Irene. However, when I saw his cold eyes, the urge to explain vanished. He knew I didn't do it on purpose, but he still resented me. He resented me for harming the girl he liked. So explanations wouldn't make him feel any better. Sorry. I lowered my eyes and apologized. Oliver frowned. You shouldn't apologize to me. You should apologize to Irene. Okay. Maybe I agreed too quickly and decisively. He was taken aback. His frown deepened. He looked at me with his deep eyes, as if he wanted to say something but held back. In the end, he just gave a, I didn't look at him and turned to walk towards Irene's classroom. Irene, Oliver, and I were not in the same class. On weekdays, after class, during meals, and on the way home, it was Irene who took the initiative to come to me and Oliver, and then the three of us walked together. I never thought much of it before. I just thought the three of us were good friends. But now, I realized that I was like a huge third wheel, standing between them every day and hindering their time together. Maybe they had long been annoyed that I couldn't read the situation. Well, I didn't know before, but now that I know, I definitely won't have the nerve to stick around them. For several days in a row, I stopped having lunch with them on the rooftop. After school, I also found excuses to stay behind and refused to walk home with them. On the weekend, when they went to the library and Irene invited me, I didn't go either. Maybe my sudden avoidance was too obvious. Oliver finally noticed when Irene came to call us after school again, and I said I hadn't finished my test paper. Oliver walked up to my desk. Which test paper haven't you finished? His questioning tone was too sharp. I felt a bit guilty. Many. How many is many? You've been writing for so many days and still haven't finished. I'm stupid. I can't do it. And I write slowly. Why didn't you come to me if you couldn't do it? Oliver questioned me one after another. And for a moment, the emotions I had accumulated for days were hard to hide. Just as I was about to lose control, Irene walked in and interrupted. Oliver, what are you doing? You're scaring Jennifer. Irene took my hand. Don't write today. It's Oliver's birthday. Aren't you going to attend? When it came to the birthday, I was stunned. Oliver's cold eyes on the opposite side still stared at me, as if blaming me for forgetting about it. In the end, I was forcefully pulled by Irene to leave with them. Oliver was from a wealthy family, so his birthday party was naturally not a simple one. When the three of us arrived at the birthday party, as the popular figures, Oliver and Irene were immediately surrounded by people, and I was instantly lost in the crowd. Ignored. For the first time, I clearly felt the gap between me and them. In fact, I met Oliver in junior high school, and I met Irene in high school. But she had a good personality and we hit it off immediately. She often came to me, and over time, she also got to know Oliver. After getting to know each other better, the three of us realized that Irene also lived in the same neighborhood as Oliver. They were neighbors. Although they met a bit late, the two people who were destined to be together would end up together no matter how late they met. Through the vast crowd, I looked at Oliver and Irene who were pushed together by a group of people, watching everyone tease them for being a good match. Irene showed a shy smile, and Oliver also slightly raised the corners of his mouth. Suddenly, I felt that it was really embarrassing for me to come here today. Since I didn't prepare a gift anyway, I quietly left the banquet hall. When I got home, I went to bed early. However, in the middle of the night, I suddenly heard someone knocking on the door. I thought it was my mother and groggily went to open the door. But I saw Oliver standing at the door. He had a sullen face. Why didn't you say anything when you left? I didn't understand why he was in a bad mood. Was my presence or absence really that important to him? In the class group, in the video of his birthday party that everyone sent, didn't he seem to be having a good time? Where's my birthday gift? He suddenly asked. I thought of the gift that I had prepared for months. And then I remembered the scarf worth tens of thousands of dollars that Irene gave him in the video. I suddenly felt embarrassed and humiliated. It would be one thing if we gave the same kind of gift. But one was extremely expensive and the other was so cheap that its cost was only a few dollars. Moreover, the scarf I knitted was really ugly. I forgot. I didn't prepare one. Oliver's breathing paused slightly, just as he was about to say something. There were footsteps in the corridor. I took a step back and closed the door. Oliver seemed really angry that I didn't prepare a birthday gift for him. He ignored me for more than a week. Maybe he thought that I would take the initiative to show weakness and apologize first, just like I used to. But this time, I didn't. And I also took the initiative to apply to the teacher to change my seat. I moved away from the desk in front of him. Oliver's status was special. So during the monthly seat changing, he never had to move. And as his good friend, I was also granted the privilege of not having to move. So I had always been the one sitting in front of him. Now that I suddenly moved away, Oliver's face turned dark. He pulled me to the stairwell and asked me what I meant. I wanted to leave, but he pressed me against the wall. While we were struggling, Irene came up from downstairs and happened to see us. Obviously, Oliver and I didn't do anything, but when I met Irene's gaze, I felt an inexplicable sense of guilt and embarrassment as if I had been caught having an affair. And on that day, Irene asked me indirectly, "Do you like Oliver too?" She used the word, also. The meaning was obvious. "Jennifer, you're my best friend. I don't want us to have a falling out because of Oliver. You understand, right?" Irene's attitude and tone were the same as before, but I felt that she was a stranger. Or maybe I had never really known her. Because the next moment, when she heard the footsteps approaching, she suddenly tripped and fell down the stairs in front of me. Fortunately, Oliver showed up in time and caught her. And she looked at me. It wasn't Jennifer's fault. We had a little argument, and I lost my footing. These words seemed like an explanation, but in fact, they were more like a cover-up. Across more than a dozen stairs, I saw the cold and disappointed look in Oliver's eyes when he looked at me. He didn't believe me. I turned around and wanted to leave. But Oliver, unusually sullen, chased after me and blocked my way in a few steps. "What's wrong with you recently?" She already said she lost her footing. "What? Are you going to hold me accountable? Apologize." He grabbed my wrist tightly, so hard that my heart ached. "Are you going to apologize or not?" His cold eyes were so sharp that they seemed to pierce my heart. It was as if I couldn't leave until I apologized. After a minute of silent confrontation, I held back my bitterness. "Oliver." He frowned. I said word by word, "You're such an asshole." He was stunned, looking at me in surprise. I shook off his hand and walked back to the classroom. This was the toughest thing I had ever said to Oliver. That was the last thing I said to him during our school days. After that, my mother and I moved to another place. On the day we left Oliver's house, I hesitated for a long time, but I still couldn't bear to throw away that scarf. So I secretly went back to school and stuffed that scarf into the desk of the person sitting in front of Oliver. I also left a note casually. "I think you're a nice person. Here you are." I didn't know who would sit at that desk after the new term started, nor did I know if the things I left would be thrown away as garbage by others. I left my feelings for Oliver, along with that scarf, in the past. After changing schools, I deleted Oliver's contact information and also got a new phone number, in order to adapt to the new environment quickly and not affect my studies. Throughout my senior year of high school, I buried myself in my studies every day. The busy schoolwork left me with little time to think about the past. 5 years passed in a flash. I never thought I would meet Oliver again. However, that day, I was delivering documents to a client. Suddenly, there was a heavy rainstorm. I couldn't go down the mountain and was trapped in a hotel on the mountain. I bumped into him in the hotel lobby. Outside, there was a fierce storm, and it was noisy around. After 5 years, the moment our eyes met, my world became as quiet as dust. I recognized him at once, and Irene beside him. 5 years had passed, and they were still together. Although I had already guessed this possibility, when I really saw them, my heart still stopped in disbelief. I desperately hoped they wouldn't recognize me, because at that moment, I was in a mess. While they were dressed elegantly, surrounded by a group of their peers, and looked composed, it was in sharp contrast to me. From their conversation, it seemed they had come here to have fun. "What's wrong, Oliver?" When someone saw that he was standing still, they asked him in confusion. Oliver was still looking at me. In his cold eyes, the faint light flickered, as if he was suppressing some strong emotions. I pretended not to know him and walked past them. Sensing his movement of stepping forward, I instinctively quickened my pace, but the next second, he grabbed my wrist. "Are you going to leave without saying a word again?" His questioning voice trembled slightly and was hoarse. I tried to shake off his hand, but his grip was so strong that he wouldn't let go. "Let go." He frowned and was about to say something when his classmates behind him caught up. "Oliver, who are you greeting?" Everyone's eyes fell on me. When they saw Oliver holding my hand, their expressions were various, and some secretly looked at Irene. Irene forced a smile. "Jennifer, why are you here, and why do you look so disheveled?" As she spoke, she seemingly cared about my situation, but in fact, she separated me from Oliver. And when Irene said that, everyone's attention was on me. When they saw that I was soaked and the total value of my clothes and accessories was less than $300, those young masters and ladies of wealthy families looked surprised. Someone blurted out, "Oliver, you know someone like her." Someone was blunt. "That bag is a counterfeit." "Right. I remember there's only one of this style in the whole world, and my brother gave it to his girlfriend." There was no malice, but I was still stung by words like, "someone like her," and "counterfeit." In fact, I didn't pursue famous brand goods and had no intention of buying counterfeits. This bag was given to me by my boss at the law firm. He deducted half a month's food expenses from me. He said I represented the standards of the law firm's recruitment, and I couldn't look shabby when meeting clients. I had never taken this bag out before, but now, I was caught by Oliver and the others. Oliver, what's your relationship with her? Oliver looked at me and hesitated for a moment. She's Seeing that he was in a dilemma, I took over the words. A high school classmate. We're not very familiar. After I said that, his face suddenly darkened. Jennifer, since we met by chance, come and play with us. Irene suddenly took my hand enthusiastically, seemingly affectionate, but I still caught a trace of disgust in her eyes when she held my hand. I was stupid before and didn't notice those details on the surface. But now, after being trained by my boss at the law firm, when I looked at Irene, I realized that she was a two-faced person. She was friendly with me before, probably because I was on good terms with Oliver. But now that I had no use value, why was she doing this? No need. I coldly pulled my hand back. I still have something to do. You guys have fun. Just as I was about to leave, Oliver blocked my way again. What are you busy with? His questioning tone was so natural, just like when he asked me, which test paper haven't you finished? On his birthday 5 years ago, I suddenly felt annoyed, and my expression turned cold. What does it have to do with you? He was stunned, and then his face darkened. Jennifer, we haven't seen each other for 5 years. You've really become capable, haven't you? You don't even greet me when you see me, and you talk to me like this. I wasn't even angry when you left without saying goodbye. Do you know that Jennifer, we always regarded you as a friend. I thought you felt the same way. I didn't expect that you would transfer schools without telling us. Oliver and I were really sad. Irene quickly took over Oliver's words, seemingly sad, but the intention of declaring her sovereignty was so obvious. Oliver stood beside her and didn't refute. Just like Irene, he showed the same expression of blaming me and being disappointed in me. Just as I was thinking about how to get rid of these two, a familiar voice came from beside me. Jennifer, come here. The voice was clear and lazy, with a commanding tone and a bit of disgust. It was none other than my boss, Merlin. Everyone looked over. Merlin stood lazily at the entrance of the hotel. He was handsome, but his arrogant temperament was even more prominent. Brother, why are you here? It was the girl who questioned me about the counterfeit bag. Merlin didn't even look at her. He just walked up to me. Are you a tortoise? Why are you so good at holding it in? Even a pig has a mouth, don't you? He looked at me with a look of hating iron for not becoming steel. Oliver frowned and interrupted. Who are you? Why are you talking to her like that? I give her money. What do you think? This sentence was a bit ambiguous, and Oliver's face changed slightly. So did the others behind him. Merlin's sister exclaimed, Brother, is she your girlfriend? The bag you bought is for her. So the bag she's holding isn't a fake. Not a fake bag. I was stunned. Beside me, Merlin gave his sister a cold look. Hermosa, do I need to buy you a loudspeaker and put it on your head? You can speak even louder. Merlin was always ready to diss people, and his sister was no exception. While everyone was still in shock, he pulled me away, so I didn't see the momentary darkness in Oliver's black eyes behind me. He wanted to chase after us, but Irene held him back. It's my birthday today. Can you stay? I'll lose face if you leave. There were too many people trapped on the mountain, and all the hotel rooms were occupied. I couldn't bear to stay in the presidential suite. I had already gotten the front desk's permission to stay in the lobby for the night. I didn't expect Merlin to come. When I followed him into the presidential suite he booked, I finally regained my senses. Boss, why are you here? He took off his suit jacket and sat on the sofa comfortably. Can't I be here? If he was here already, why did he ask me to deliver the documents today? And my colleagues in the law firm clearly said that he had a court session today and it wouldn't end until 4 in the afternoon. I wanted to ask, but I didn't dare. After all, Merlin was known in the industry for his sharp tongue. He especially liked to diss people and scold them, just like he did just now. I had only been in the law firm for 3 months, and he had scolded me more than 30 times. The most he scolded me for was that I was stupid. Stupid in the head and stupid with my mouth. I was lost in thought with my head down. Suddenly, my vision darkened, and a handsome face appeared in front of me, which gave me a start. Boss, TSK. Merlin stared at me for a few seconds, then retracted his gaze and stood up straight. You're not good looking. How could you be involved in such a cheesy love triangle? How do you know about my relationship with them? Aren't you going to refute my previous sentence? Merlin looked at me with a look of frustration. Assistant Jennifer, when someone calls you ugly, shouldn't you scold them back? Why are you so calm about it? But what you said is the truth. Merlin was taken aback. Even if it's the truth, you should scold them back. Don't you have any dignity? Assistant Jennifer, you always like to find all kinds of excuses for your weakness. A famous person once said that if a person isn't bold at the age of 20, they're hopeless. You're already 22, boss. That famous person also said that if a person is still bold at the age of 30, they're hopeless too. Assistant Jennifer, do I look hopeless? Merlin clicked his tongue in disdain. The above saying only applies to ordinary people, like you. But for a genius like me, I have the capital to be bold at any time. Boss, you're extremely narcissistic. Wrong. People without strength are the ones who are narcissistic. What I have is self-awareness. After a pause, as if remembering something, he suddenly flew into a rage. Assistant Jennifer, I'm not 30 yet. Don't round up my age. Sure enough, what my colleagues in the law firm said was true. After boss turned 28, he was extremely sensitive about his age. I didn't know how Oliver got my contact information. Just as I finished taking a shower and was about to go to bed, I received a call from him. Are you with your boss now? He found out about my relationship with Merlin in just a few hours. I was a bit surprised, but considering that Oliver was no ordinary person and probably had wide connections, it wasn't difficult for him to find out. If you have something to say, just say it. I'm going to bed. Jennifer, I've been thinking about a question for these years, but I can't figure it out. Why have you become like this? Why do you seem to be angry with me? And your attitude towards Irene is so cold. Isn't she your best friend? I felt that the emotions that had just calmed down were about to flare up again. I don't know why, but Oliver always has the ability to make me emotional, whether it's sadness or anger. Maybe it was the words Merlin said tonight that influenced me. So I couldn't help but retort. Oliver, we're not friends. We never were. There was a few seconds of silence on the other end. Is that what you've always thought? Yes. How could two people with an unequal relationship be friends? In high school, some people jokingly called me the little follower of the school beauty and the school hunk. At that time, Oliver didn't deny it and even laughed along. So what were those times we spent together? You mean the school beauty, the school hunk, and their little follower. Jennifer, do you know what you're saying? After you left without saying goodbye all these years, she has been caring about you and missing you. She's been so sad every day. And you're speaking of her like this behind her back. TSK. Aren't you going to hang up? I'm annoyed even if you're not. I don't know when Merlin came in. He grabbed the phone. Before hanging up, I faintly heard Oliver's anxious voice. Why is there a man's voice in your room? Is it Merlin? You're just his subordinate. Why are you still together in the middle of the night? Jennifer. However, no one answered him, leaving only the beeping sound. I looked at Merlin, who was wearing only a bathrobe, and it was quite revealing. I hesitated and reminded, Boss, you'd better put on another piece of clothing. What's wrong? Isn't it nice? It's not that. It's just that there's a man and a woman here in the middle of the night. Assistant Jennifer. Merlin looked at me in disbelief. What are you thinking? You're always thinking about such things. No wonder you're just a lawyer assistant. Boss, I'm a lawyer assistant because I haven't had my lawyer's certificate for long. And I'm young. Sure enough, Merlin couldn't stand it when someone mentioned his age. His face darkened. After a while, he said, Assistant Jennifer, if you could use the ability to piss me off on that asshole couple tonight, I'd be more relieved. That asshole couple. I was shocked by Merlin's choice of words. He looks noble and elegant on the surface, gentle and modest. But why does he always ruin his own demeanor with his words every time he speaks? Remembering something, I suddenly said, Boss, that bag you gave me. What about that bag? Do you think I charged you too much? I even got a discount for you. There's no room for negotiation. If you don't want it, just throw it away. I won't refund the money. He didn't even listen and turned around to leave. Me? The rain didn't stop after falling all night, and everyone was forced to stay here. Merlin seemed very busy. Since I woke up, I've seen him having meetings and making phone calls. I don't know why such a busy person came up the mountain last night and got trapped here. When I went to the hotel cafeteria for breakfast, I ran into Oliver and Irene from a distance. As expected, the two of them walked towards me. They were accompanied by 3 of their friends, one of whom was Merlin's sister. Can we sit here? Oliver asked. When he got closer, I noticed that he didn't look well, as if he hadn't slept all night. Could it be that they had too much fun at Irene's birthday party last night and didn't sleep all night? Before I could respond, he sat down beside me. Irene's face froze for a moment, and she silently walked over and sat across from me. The three friends with them had different expressions and spontaneously found seats to sit down. I wasn't really hungry. Just as I picked up my plate and was about to get up, Oliver suddenly put down his chopsticks with a loud noise. The sound was so loud that everyone around stopped and looked over. His obscure eyes looked at me. Do you have to be like this? I thought we made it clear on the phone last night. Hearing this, Oliver's face darkened again. Irene's face also changed, but she still smiled and said, Oliver, last night when you were supposed to ask Jennifer to come to my birthday, she didn't come. Didn't you forget to tell her? She was so busy last night. How could she have time to see us? Busy. What could she be busy with at night? Irene, you've missed her for all these years. Some people are heartless and don't deserve your concern for them. The two of them were being sarcastic back and forth. I was too lazy to pay attention and got up to leave. Oliver's expression changed, and he stopped talking and hurriedly grabbed me. Let's talk. What's there to talk about? Jennifer, come here. Merlin suddenly appeared. His commanding tone startled me, and I instinctively shook off Oliver's hand and walked towards him. Boss. Merlin raised the corners of his mouth and showed a kind smile. What did I tell you last night? Assistant Jennifer, do you want me to die of anger? Merlin stared at me, looking at me with a look of hating iron for not becoming steel. Hermosa had been holding her breath and watching the drama since just now. At this moment, she leaned towards Merlin. Brother, why are you here? Is it for work? Don't get so close. Why? You're blinding me. Hermosa. When Merlin took me away, I was prepared to be scolded again. However, unexpectedly, he didn't say anything. He just told me to go back to work after I had enough to eat. Although we're trapped here, no matter how bad the conditions are, we still have to create a working environment. Do you understand? Assistant Jennifer. I looked at the luxurious presidential suite around me and then at Merlin with a serious expression. I hesitated and nodded. Oh, I've added a few requirements to this case. You modify the contract. Okay. I looked at the new requirements he proposed and hesitated. Boss, if we raise the price like this, won't the client be angry? Cooperation is based on the free will of both parties. If he's not willing, he can find someone else. But this lawsuit is so difficult that no one else can help him except me. He's so confident. Assistant Jennifer, you have to remember that when you're powerful enough, the world will accommodate you. Oh, the hotel provides free hot spring services. Merlin said not to waste it and told me to go soak in the hot spring. As soon as I went in, I ran into Irene, but from her posture, it didn't seem like she came to take a bath. It was as if she deliberately followed me when she saw me coming. Jennifer, can we have a talk? She showed the same expression as when she tried to scheme against me before. I looked at her warily. What do you want to talk about? Are you still angry with me? Because I accidentally fell 5 years ago, and Oliver was too worried, which made a misunderstanding about you. You're thinking too much. I've already forgotten what happened 5 years ago. Really? She smiled sweetly. Do you still like Oliver? Do I still like Oliver? I actually asked myself this question more than once later. Before Oliver reappeared, I didn't know, but after reuniting with Oliver, I seemed to have an answer. It seems you still do. So did you come here on purpose to meet him? Do you want to steal him from me? After all, we were good sisters. Isn't it not nice of you to steal your best friend's boyfriend? While I was lost in thought, Irene just assumed all this on her own. You can't steal him from me. Not to mention that Oliver and I have been together all these years. We're also planning to get engaged. You were just the daughter of the nanny in their house before. His mother didn't like you. Otherwise your mother wouldn't have been driven away. My mother was driven away. I was shocked and interrupted. How do you know? She smiled again but didn't answer. She just scanned the surroundings, then walked to the edge of the water and pretended to trip. Before she fell, she grabbed my hand, making it seem like I pushed her from a distance. When I heard the sound of her falling into the water, I was speechless. She used the same old trick again. I guessed Oliver was nearby. Sure enough, Irene's cries for help attracted Oliver. Oliver looked at me standing by the side in shock, and then at Irene in the water. Just when it seemed that the other person was about to drown, he jumped in and fished her out. Since they were both going to soak in the hot spring, they were wearing very little, and after getting wet, They looked rather intimate and ambiguous when they came out. And Oliver didn't seem to realize it. Or he didn't mind being intimate with Irene. He glared at me angrily. Jennifer, I always thought you were just careless before. But it turns out you're really vicious. Why did you do this to Irene? There should be a limit to your anger. Oliver, it's not like that. It wasn't Jennifer who pushed me. I accidentally fell in. You don't need to cover for her. Didn't you see that she just stood by indifferently and didn't care about you at all? Irene, she's changed. TSK. I interrupted impatiently and walked up to them. Yes, that's right. I pushed her. Merlin said that when scheming against someone, you have to be quick, ruthless, and accurate, and not give the other person a chance to react. So, Oliver. I kicked Oliver. Since he was wet and the ground was slippery, he was kicked into the water. Irene's eyes widened in shock. Before she could react, I kicked her in too. Look clearly. This time, I really pushed her. This commotion finally attracted the people around. But instead of being worried about the drowning issue, they said, "Why is this man in the women's section? They're a couple. How unseemly. What kind of play are they doing here?" Oliver stood in the water, and the water reached his waistline. He was so embarrassed. He had never been so humiliated in his life. He looked at me with a dark face. Jennifer, I didn't drown them. What are you shouting for? Sure enough, it's good to go a little crazy sometimes. I finally understand the joy Merlin feels. I don't know how Merlin found out what happened in the hot spring. On the way down the mountain, he praised me for the first time. Assistant Jennifer, I thought you were hopeless before, but now it seems there's still some hope. You did a good job this time. Actually, I lost my mind and did such an outrageous thing because I was so angry at that time. But now, as my reason returned, I became timid again when facing Merlin, especially when Merlin said he would give me a reward. No need, boss. I'll give you several big cases as a reward. Go back and work overtime. Thank you so much. Why, aren't you happy? I'll work overtime too, with me accompanying you. Are you feeling wronged? Boss, you work overtime for yourself, and I work overtime to make money for you. What do you think? Oh, you're quite articulate. Not bad. He just selectively ignores what I say. I thought that after kicking Oliver into the water last time, he would be angry and never come to me again. Unexpectedly, just a week after I went back to work, I ran into him near the company. Jennifer. When he got closer, I noticed that he was wearing a scarf. Seeing the clumsy stitching on the scarf, I instinctively frowned. It's so familiar. I have something to talk to you about. I frowned. What is it? Are you here to settle the score on behalf of your girlfriend? Forget it. I won't apologize. She's not my girlfriend. She never was. I was slightly surprised and didn't understand what he was up to this time. I'm sorry. I misunderstood you before. I didn't expect that Irene really jumped into the hot spring by herself. As he said that, he suddenly took off the scarf and handed it to me. This scarf is yours. Right. I've been keeping it carefully all these years. I remember I never gave it to you. You didn't give it to me. But you originally planned to give it to me, didn't you? I was surprised that he knew that. But the next moment, the anger welled up in me. So you've always known. A trace of guilt flashed in his eyes. But he still tried to explain. I just saw this in your desk once. After you left, I saw it in the desk of the person sitting in front of me. Stop talking. My voice was calm without any fluctuation. Oliver's eyelashes trembled slightly. This was the birthday gift you originally wanted to give me. Right. But why didn't you give it to me that night? What do you think? Did you misunderstand that I was with Irene? I frowned and tried to hold back my annoyance. He was a little anxious. I just figured out why you suddenly distanced yourself from me recently. I'm sorry, but I really wasn't with Irene. I don't know why it was rumored like that at school. The person I like has always been you. Enough. I interrupted. He looked at me cautiously. I sneered. Stop pretending to be innocent. You were there. You two were said as couple several times. Don't you know that? I just thought everyone was just joking. Yeah, just joking. So when everyone said I was your and Irene's follower, a little lackey, and a servant, you also thought it was just a joke and even laughed along. Oliver's face turned pale. It's not like that. Not like that. Then what's it like? Merlin's sarcastic voice came from behind. I turned around and looked. Merlin smiled and looked at me. Assistant Jennifer, you're 5 minutes late. You won't get the full attendance bonus this month. I took a deep breath and turned to glare at the instigator. Oliver lowered his head. Jennifer, I'll make up the full attendance bonus for you. My employee. Why do you care? Merlin looked at Oliver contemptuously. Little brother. Your tricks might work on Assistant Jennifer, but they're not enough for me. Oliver frowned. What's between me and her? It has nothing to do with you. Yo. Are you getting defensive? Are you feeling guilty? Boss. I tugged at Merlin's sleeve, signaling him to restrain himself, but he shook off my hand. Do you really believe what he said that he didn't know? Do you really think he couldn't tell that the asshole liked him? He's always known that both you and the asshole liked him, but he just pretended not to know. A man like this is not worth it. He enjoys your lonely and humble admiration and the envy of others when the school beauty likes him. Merlin kept calling Irene asshole. Oliver's face didn't look good. I was really worried that the two of them would start fighting at the company entrance. And Merlin didn't restrain himself at all. He patted my shoulder earnestly. Just think about the times the asshole framed you. He couldn't even tell her tricks. If he couldn't tell, then this kind of man isn't worth it. Of course, if he could tell but still pretended not to know, he's even more unworthy. Boss, I know you're amazing. I know. Since you know, then you two talk. I'm going to work. There's really no need to report to me what you're going to do. As soon as Merlin left, Oliver seemed to come back to life. He looked at me dejectedly. Jennifer, it's not like what he said. I really didn't know at that time. I walked with Irene because I thought she was your friend. I became friends with her just because of you. Excuse me. I'm going to work. When Irene fell downstairs, actually I didn't fully believe her either. But you were ignoring me at that time, and I was angry. So, it's all someone else's fault. And you have no fault at all. Right. Also, it's my problem that I liked you. You don't have to be responsible for my emotions just because I liked you. Jennifer. Just as a glimmer appeared in his eyes, I interrupted with a cold face. Oliver, I used to like you, but now I don't. I hope we can part on good terms. It's impossible. I don't believe it. Believe it or not, it's up to you. Just as I was about to leave, his eyes turned red. Don't you want me, Oliver? I've given you many chances. Once, because I liked him, I gave others many chances to hurt myself. Now, I don't want to be sorry to myself anymore. Throw away the scarf. It wasn't for you. Oliver's face turned completely pale. I don't know if Oliver and Irene were too in sync or they had discussed it. Oliver came to me in the morning, and Irene went to Merlin in the afternoon. I couldn't figure it out. What did Irene want with Merlin? Out of sheer curiosity, I summoned up the courage to go to the lounge and eavesdrop. Who would have thought that as soon as I got close? I heard Irene smearing me. Jennifer is so lucky. Although she's of ordinary looks, ordinary family background, and ordinary education, she can make the great devil in the lawyer world do this for her. How old are you? Girl, you're so good at pretending. Are you a green tea reincarnated? You. Irene was so angry that she choked. Lawyer Wen, don't you think it's beneath you to like her? People who have such thoughts are the ones who are beneath themselves. Whoever likes you is really blind. Merlin's mouth is really sharp. Without comparison. I didn't realize it. After the comparison, I found that he was really gentle when he scolded me. He just said I was stupid. Come to think of it, if it weren't for you instigating Oliver's mother to fire Jennifer's mother and drive her out of City A, Jennifer wouldn't have transferred schools, and there wouldn't have been a series of butterfly effects, and she wouldn't have met me. So, I should thank you. You vicious woman. What? It was Irene who made my mother leave her job and come to this place. Lawyer Merlin, it seems you've found out a lot. You really like her, but I don't understand. Why do you and Oliver like her? Are you consulting me? My consulting fee is very expensive. It's $100,000 for one question. I usually charge by the second when talking to others. I'm going easy on you today. Merlin, are you crazy? I was still stuck on the reason why my mother left her job. Unexpectedly, Irene suddenly opened the door and bumped into me. Irene gave me a glare and ran away with red eyes. I met Merlin's gaze in the reception room. Remembering that he didn't deny that he liked me just now, I felt a little guilty. Just as I was about to slip away, Merlin called out to me. Why are you running? You have the guts to eavesdrop. Boss, I was wrong. Don't you have anything you want to ask? Yes. He raised his eyebrows. Why did Irene come to you? What did she mean when she said you did this for me? Is that what you're curious about? I nodded. TSK. With your brain. What was I expecting? After a pause, he said irritably. I had my sister record what happened between you and her in the hot spring. I just sent the recording to that guy surnamed Lou. I was surprised. How did this person know to record it in time? Did you expect her to scheme against me? Why do you know her so well? TSK. Who knows her? I just know people with a lot of scheming. Fine. He's boasting about himself again. I hadn't heard from Irene and Oliver for a long time. I was so busy with work every day that I almost forgot about them. However, that day, Merlin suddenly handed me his phone and asked me to watch a video. It turned out that Oliver and Irene's families had arranged an engagement banquet for them. But Oliver didn't show up. He only left a pre-recorded VCR. In the video, he was like he was drunk, ignoring his image as the unattainable flower he had built over the years. He bluntly said that he would rather die than marry that vicious woman, Irene. Many people came to the engagement banquet. His action made Irene lose all face. It was said that the two of them had a big fight after the engagement banquet. When I got off work and went home, I met Oliver near my home. I didn't want to pay attention to him, but he came up and grabbed my hand. Jennifer, give me another chance. Okay, I will treat you well in the end. I really only like you from beginning to end. I was a bit helpless. Oliver, I've said it. I don't like you. Jennifer, do you want to be polite again? A sinister voice came from behind. It was Merlin. Why are you here? Merlin gave me a glare, ignored me, and looked at Oliver. She's mine. Let go of your dirty hand. I have to say, Merlin is really intimidating. Oliver became much more obedient. Merlin pulled me behind him and looked at me. When will you be more promising? I was so glared at by him that I suspected that if I didn't say something today, he wouldn't let me go. Oliver beside me was still looking at me. I was silent for a while, then looked at him seriously. Oliver, go away. I don't want to see you again. I feel sick when I see you. Oliver's face turned pale. In front of another man, he felt unprecedented humiliation. Are you serious? Very serious. Oliver looked dejected. Okay. As soon as the person left, Merlin clicked his tongue. Do you have to say go away so gently? I know my personality isn't likable. Many people hate it. But I don't want to be like this either. What can I do? You're not dislikable. I looked at him in surprise. He replied seriously. At least I don't dislike you. Why is my heart beating so fast? I suddenly thought of the question I ignored last time. On a whim, I blurted out. Boss, do you like me? It's obvious. Why is someone so proud to admit that they like someone? And I used to be so self-deprecating. Why do you like me? As Irene said, I'm good for nothing. TSK. Do you believe everything she said? Are you so easily PUA'd? After a pause, his tone changed. But I like your spineless look. Spineless look. Seeing me looking at him, he was rarely a bit embarrassed and turned my head away. There's actually nothing wrong with your personality. In this world, we should always allow some people to be quiet and clumsy. Then why do you always want to change me? I don't want to change you. I just hope that when something happens, you won't always wrong yourself. My heart skipped a beat. I looked up at him. Under the dim and bright moonlight, the man's eyes were sincere. You can be quiet and dull, but you can't let others bully you. I don't know how much time passed. Under the moonlight, I said weakly, Boss, you always scolded me before. I have a psychological shadow. Then I won't scold you in the future. Think about it again. Can I take more time to consider? How much time do you want? I don't know. His worried expression at that moment was captured by the crowd. I didn't accept Merlin's proposal to start a relationship that night. I had just graduated, and there was a huge gap in social status between me and Merlin. I was afraid that it would be like before, always looking up to others and eventually feeling inferior. Boss, I will strive to move forward and catch up with you. Merlin gave a heh and looked up from the computer. Assistant Jennifer, I'm a genius, and you're an ordinary person. How could you possibly catch up with me in this lifetime? Boss, didn't you say you wouldn't scold me anymore? Is this scolding you? Can't I tell the truth? Fine, I was wrong. I definitely won't say it again. You said the same thing yesterday. Assistant Jennifer, you're going too far. I usually only let my girlfriend push my buttons. Boss, I'm going to work. Shall we have dinner together tonight? Okay. Merlin smiled slightly. Go ahead. The end.